So you've been working hard on your weight loss journey. But instead of losing 3 pounds over the past week, you noticed that the scale went up 3 pounds instead of down 3 pounds. Oh no, how frustrating. Yes, it is frustrating. But here's the thing. Did you really gain 3 pounds of what really matters? Did you really gain 3 pounds of fat? Yes, the scale can go up 3 pounds. But what is that telling you? Did you really gain 3 pounds of fat? What is the scale really measuring? Is your scale measuring how much fat you're losing, how much fat you're gaining? No. Your scale is measuring total body mass, which includes a whole lot of things. So here's the thing. For you to gain 3 pounds of fat, I want you to really understand this. For you to gain 3 pounds of fat, you would have to eat roughly an extra 10,000 calories above what you were already eating. That is an additional 10,000 calories. To gain 3 pounds of fat in a week, you would have to be eating an additional 10,000 calories above what you're normally eating. Think about that. That's about an extra 1,500 calories a day in a week. Are you doing that? I'm not talking about just eating 1,500 calories. I'm talking about if your basal metabolic rate, let's say, is 1,500, that's just what your body needs to keep you functioning. If you were to weigh about 150 pounds, and you've got an extra, let's say for math's sake, an extra 500 calories for your daily energy expenditure. So you require 2,000 calories just to function, right? To do all the things you do, and for your body to function. That would mean that you're eating those 2,000 calories plus an extra 1,500 calories a day. Do you see the unlikeliness of you gaining 3 pounds of fat in a week? So you see, what you're going crazy about is not real. It's an illusion. Why? Because fat gain is slow, and fat loss is slow. But water weight, you see, water weight can change in 24 hours, so the scale can jump quickly. It's not fat. You're not really gaining fat, and that is what matters. You're not looking to lose weight, you're looking to lose fat. Notice every time I talk to you, I talk about fat loss. I don't talk about weight loss, because weight loss is an illusion, right? We're interested in losing fat because that is what lasts. Your body will fluctuate weight because your body is 70% water. And if your body is 70% water, don't you think that that water weight is going to fluctuate? And I'm going to tell you all the reasons why that water weight fluctuates. Welcome back to Mindset and Motivation. I'm your coach, Dr. Del Millers here. You can call me Coach Del. And this is another episode of my Monday Motivation. And today we want to dive into, because last week I've heard the same thing from quite a few clients. They were so perturbed and frustrated that instead of losing 3 pounds, they actually gained 3 pounds. But here's the good news. A number of those clients actually were in the right mindset. You see, you guys are listening to these Monday Motivation because a number of these clients were actually in the right mindset. They say, well, I know things are going to go my way. I just need to remain consistent. I know this is a temporary thing. I just need to remain consistent because I'm going to get there. You see, that is the right mindset to be in. So a number of you guys were in the right mindset. You know that in order to keep moving forward, well, you have to keep moving forward. But here's the thing, right? We're going to dismantle one of the biggest illusions in weight loss, the belief that quick jump on the scale means failure. I see people come back from vacation and they're so pissed off because they gained 3 pounds, they gained 5 pounds, and then I realize you just spent 2 weeks on a cruise. You're eating differently from the way you normally eat. You're doing different things. Of course, the scale is going to change. And you see, the misunderstanding of what the scale is actually measuring, this is what causes people to sabotage themselves emotionally, even before your body changes physically. Right? It's an emotional sabotage you're putting yourself through. So what does the scale actually measure? You see, the scale doesn't just measure fat. It measures total body mass. And total body mass includes water, glycogen, that's your stored carbs that's stored in your muscle. And in order for your body to store carbs in your muscle, it must use extra water to do that. So you see, glycogen is carbohydrates plus water. You see now, more water. Your scale measures inflammation, because the rise of inflammation means your body is going to retain more water. Your scale measures digestive contents. It measures sodium balance. It measures hormonal shifts. It measures healing fluid. You notice when you burn your arm and that packet of fluid surrounds that burn to protect it, that is what we call healing fluid. And that is going on inside your body as well as outside your body. Your scale measures muscle and it measures fat. So you see, fat is only one piece of this equation. Almost 10 things I just mentioned. Fat is only one of those things. The scale is a gravity measurement, right? It's not a body composition scan. It's a gravity measurement. So the calorie reality, guys, let's be clear about this. 1 pound of body fat, like I said, is roughly, I'll just throw out some, it's not entirely accurate, but we'll say that's about 3,500 calories. And 3 pounds is, like I said, over 10,000 calories. So to gain 3 pounds of fat, you would need a sustained calorie surplus. And we're talking about this. This is a calorie surplus of over 10,000 calories. In a week, that's about 1,500 calories a day, extra calories on top of what you normally eat. So ask yourself, are you really doing that? Does that happen accidentally in a day? No, that is not something that happened accidentally. Right? Even a high-calorie day doesn't automatically convert into fat storage. Fat gain is gradual. It never happens overnight, which means rapid weight spikes are not fat. Rapid hikes are fluid. You really need to understand that. And you see, the scale can jump 1 to 5 pounds quickly. Why? Number one, water retention from stress. Elevated cortisol causes the body to retain sodium in water. You see, some of those triggers can include poor sleep, emotional stress, travel days, hormonal shifts, illness, right? Medical procedures. You see, your nervous system says protect. Remember, we've been talking about the different nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. We've been talking about why your body protects itself. And your nervous system detects what's going on and says protect. When your nervous system says protect, your body holds on to water. Number two, glycogen storage, right? When you eat carbohydrates, your muscles must store glycogen. And for every gram of glycogen stored, your body binds about 3 to 4 grams of water. For every gram of glycogen, your body has to use about 3 to 4 grams of water to store that. So higher carb intake equals temporary weight increase. Temporary. That's fuel storage, not fat gain. You see the picture now? Number 3, inflammation. You see, after intense workouts, injury, medical procedures, tissue healing, the body retains fluid in those healing areas. Inflammation shows up fast, guys. Fat gain does not. Inflammation can come about from an intense workout. It can come about from injury. It can come about from a poor night's sleep. Inflammation causes your body to retain water. Number 4, digestive volume. You see, if food is still being processed, it still weighs something. Constipation, slower digestion, sodium shifts, these all influence the scale. None of that is body fat. None of that is about fat. It's all about water. So you see, panic makes everything worse. And this is why people derail themselves. They see the spike and they respond with, a lot of times, severe calorie restriction, excess cardio, skipping meals, emotional stress, guilt. And you see what happens here now? Stress, cortisol. What does that lead to? Inflammation. What does that lead to? Water retention, right? So you see, when you go, oh my God, that cortisol spikes, that inflammation spikes, that water retention goes up. And you go weigh yourself again. Well, of course you're going to weigh more, right? So that is the process. Cortisol increases water retention, which reinforces the illusion. So see, you don't force your way out of severe stress. You calm your way out of it. You got to calm your way out of it. So you got to calm down. So what does it actually take to lose 3 pounds of fat, right? To lose 3 pounds of fat, you must create a calorie deficit over time. And, that could be, a calorie deficit over weeks. It takes time. That's why you focus on your meals, your water, your activity, your exercise. These are the things that create a calorie deficit over time. You're being more active throughout the day. These are the things that create a calorie deficit over time. So you get more active, right? That is the process. You add some resistance training, some exercise to your day to create a calorie deficit. You eat the right foods, because why? You eat more plant foods. I tell you, the 2 things you put at your meals, plant foods, your protein and your veggies. Why? Because you can eat an entire tub of veggies and only eat about 100 calories, right? Low carb foods, low calorie foods, I should say. This is how you create a calorie deficit. You eat more plant foods. And you see, fat loss is gradual because your body protects its energy reserves. I've told you many times that fat is your body's most precious commodity. It's not going to give it up very quickly. It is slow and it is gradual. So when you're trying to lose weight and when you try to see the scale move, that is an illusion, guys. You're just playing around with your water content. You lose 10 pounds in a month, the majority of that is just water. You may have lost 2 to 3 pounds of fat. The majority of that is just water. It's an illusion. So I said, don't get too caught up in the scale, with the scale. That's not what you want to focus on. You want to focus on how your body is shifting, how your clothes are fitting you, what you look like in the mirror. That is the reality. That's why I tell a lot of you, throw away your scale. It means absolutely nothing. When was the last time I weighed myself? I can't recall. Yet, I take stock of where I am all the time. What I look like in the mirror, what I feel like, how much energy I've got. Those are the things that matter, right? You see, healthy fat loss, right? Probably about, a half a pound a week? Yes, that's healthy fat loss. That is what's typical, about a half a pound a week. That is on average what your body really wants to do. Your body is not going to drop 3-4 pounds of fat in a week. It's not going to happen. You lose 3 pounds in a week, that's mostly water. And yes, I know it makes you happy, and I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's mostly water. Just the same way you gain 3 pounds in a week, that is water. So if something drastically changes in 48 hours, guys, it isn't fat. It is water fluctuation based on all the things we've talked about, right? So when the scale jumps, what you want to do is you want to keep your meals regular and balanced. You want to hydrate well. You want to make sure, you want to increase your water. You see a drop in the scale, increase your water, because that typically means your body's holding on to water. Add more gentle movement to your day. Sleep more, right? Get better rest. Reduce stress. Avoid extremes, right? Water releases when the body feels safe. When your body's holding on to water, that's protection for all the reasons we talked about before. So your body's not punishing you, it's protecting you. When your weight goes up, that's your body protecting you. That is not fat, that is just water. Any kind of change in 48 hours, any kind of change in a week, the majority of that is water. Up or down, the majority of that is water. And I need you to really understand that. So the majority of what you're losing is water. The majority of what you're gaining is water. That is why this is a long-term journey. To lose 50 pounds of fat is going to take you a very, very long time. And if you lose 50 pounds in a short period of time, I guarantee that the vast majority of that is just water. So daily weight is noise. Weekly and monthly trends are data. Right? Monthly is more accurate. So the long game, guys, we're talking about the long game. The long game is won by stable behaviors, consistency over time, repeated execution of your process, emotional regulation. Not by reacting to fluctuations. That's not going to get you where you want to go. Right? So I want you to remember that the majority of what you're seeing is just water fluctuation in your body. Because of the 10 things I mentioned that the scale is measuring, remember, only one of those things is fat. So I want you to remember this. The scale is not judging you. It's reflecting chemistry, fluid, and physiology. If it went up quickly, it can come down quickly. 3 pounds overnight is not over 10,000 calories. Excess calories eaten. I don't think you're sitting around eating a tub of ice cream every day, all day long, right? It's water, it's stress, it's inflammation, it's healing fluid. So you want to stay steady. You want to keep executing the basics. Your body responds to consistency, not panic. And when you stay calm, your results become inevitable. When you stay calm and carry on, and you learn to move forward as if you were getting great results. That is how you move through the valley of despair. By moving forward as if you were getting great results, because you are. You're reducing the panic, you're reducing the inflammation, you reduce the stress, you reduce the inflammation. You reduce the water retention. So when the scale rises, know that most of that is just an illusion. Increase your water intake. Get more rest. Find a way of reducing the stress. Stay steady. Stay steady. Stay consistent. Move forward. Don't let it make you give up on yourself, because it's just an illusion. Your journey is the long game. That is what's going to get you where you want to go. Whether you're trying to lose 20 pounds or 100 pounds, it's about the long game. So you want to keep moving forward and focus on burning fat. But most importantly, you want to focus on building muscle. You want to focus on building muscle. That is the only thing that is going to get you to your goal and keep you there over the long term, is building muscle. It's not losing weight, it's building muscle. So one of the most important things you can start doing right now is to start adding some resistance training in your day. If you're not doing that, you got to be doing that 2-3 times a week. Then repeat that. If you're not doing that, you got to be doing some resistance training 2-3 times a week. It's the number one factor in you sustaining whatever results you get over the long term. So you might as well start that process now. Start the process of changing your body composition, because then you won't be so caught up in the illusion of this scale. You can see your body changing. You can feel your body changing. That is all that matters. So stay calm and carry on, my friends, because the scale measures more than just water. I should say the scale measures more than just fat. Fat is only one of many things that the scale measures. So those quick fluctuations in your weight, it's just an illusion of water retention. Your body's retaining water for many different reasons. I hope this has been helpful.